All right, it's been a couple of days. The spray foam guys have done their work. Let's see how everything ties together. Have a look at the ceilings. Everything you see here in purple, that's spray foam. The material we use is BASF wall tight. This is a 2-pound spray foam, which is a vapor barrier, also an air barrier material, also an insulation material. Let's check it out. So a couple of videos back, we talked about having the Rockwool being installed first against the outside area and then putting a piece of blocking. And now we have the spray foam sprayed against the blocking. Now what happens here? The spray foam provides the insulation, the vapor barrier, and the air barrier continuously from that side of the house all the way over to this point here. From here, it's considered too close to the property line of the next property, and therefore the limiting distance has not been met. Therefore, this wall is considered combustible. Therefore, we're using non-combustible materials before the spray foam starts, providing a continuous non-combustible wall assembly all the way down for the south side of the building. So for the other side of the house, where it is a non-combustible wall assembly, what we did here was we first provided insulation and vapor barrier on the outside wall. Now the reason why we installed this first, because the next step to follow is the installation of the bathtubs. Bathtubs are going to be this wide, this tall. If you install that first before putting in the poly, it'll be very difficult to get this detailed properly behind the tub area. So that's why we get this installed first. You'll notice that we have some walls framed here as well. The reason why we have this wall frame is because we want to separate the plumbing, which includes water lines, from the cold wall. So if this is a 2x6 wall, we want to make sure we have the adequate insulation and poly separating this wall and where we put the actual plumbing lines, keeping the cold side and the warm side completely separate, and also protecting the water lines which will be installed inside this wall. Notice that we put the insulation right to the top along with the poly, then we built the wall. Now everything's nice and clean. We maintain a separation between the future installed drywall and the polyed area. Remains consistent all the way through on the outside frame walls. You'll notice the top areas, all spray foamed. And that creates the continuity of the insulation right to the end of the box joist. And that's where the insulation of the walls join to the top and end of the top plates. So we have everything here fully insulated, ready to do any kind of utilities, put any kind of roughings in without interfering with the poly and not requiring us to tape around any kind of penetrations later, because we have a fresh new surface to work on that has nothing to do with insulated areas. Okay, I want to bring your attention to this area here, which will be the future bathtub area and the custom built-in shower. Now, right beside each other, meaning this area has to be also protected by a wall of glass with its own access door. Now, one more thing to add to this area is it's actually a steam shower, but steam showers don't usually extend to this section here, right? So you can imagine if a steam unit is going to power the steam generation for this shower unit, it now also has to accommodate an extra area of this size, which is not typical. When using a steam unit, you typically want to be enjoying the steam at this level, right? And because this area is much larger than a typical steam shower unit, the steam is going to tend to dissipate into those other areas as well, which you may not have occupants at the same time. So that will give you less of a steam experience. This drop ceiling serves more than one purpose. First purpose, it gives us a little bit less volume in this area to capture the steam, so less chance for the steam to dissipate to the top and rise beyond where the user experience would normally feel it. And secondly, notice in the bathroom next door, that's also got a drop ceiling. We're going to be running pipes from that room all the way over to this room and being used in this area. So this drop ceiling will actually house all the pipes without having any interference with the way that this whole area looks. So two purposes, one for capturing more steam area, and secondly, to house the pipes that are in the ceiling. So let's check out what we did for the secondary washroom in preparation for the upcoming rough-ins. So I'm standing in an area here, which will be the future shower for this washroom. And again, we put poly insulation in the wall ahead of time, so that later on when the shower base gets installed, this does not have to work around the shower base. For example, this will be the thickness of the shower base. If we had installed it first, how could you possibly detail this poly down to the bottom and have a perfect seal? So it's always better to put this first ahead of time, seal it and detail it properly, and then mount your shower base or your tub against this so you don't have to work around those fixtures. So back to spray foam. You see the rest of the ceilings are all spray foam, but in this area we stopped just at this beam. Now, why did we stop at this beam? It's because the area above this is the doghouse, and that area is its own conditioned space, so the insulation will carry up above and along its own roof line and its own wall assembly, and where it connects back to the wall plate. So you notice that this area is all done with poly and batt. Typically, this is how it's done for most houses. We detail all the shapes and nooks and crannies within this joist cavities. It's not the most ideal way to do it, but when you have no choice but to use poly and batt in these scenarios, this will be the best way to do it. However, this is where you have to spend a lot more time and more attention to making sure you have a good seal of the poly and the acoustical seal in all those little areas. So just imagine working around that, how much time it'll take to get a job properly done. So let's talk a little bit about sequencing and why we did things the way we did so far. So just a recap. We start off first with the HVAC guy. We had him drill all those holes and run whatever pipes he had to run first before the spray foam guys came in. There's a reason for that. Let's have a look at this detail here. So you see how the spray foam in this area kind of encapsulates the ducting which was installed. Can you imagine if we were to spray foam first and have the HVAC guy come in and install his piping? What would happen is he'd be cutting away all of the insulation. This way, because he has his ducts installed first, the spray foam guys can spray foam up and around him without moving his ductwork and without having to cut any spray foam later on. So now we have a nicely encapsulated pipe. It's insulated, it's kept inside the conditioned area, and now we can work forward with all the future connections without disturbing the nicely sprayed spray foam. All right, let's check out the other parts of the house. We're on the main floor here. Check out the box ends. We filled them with 2-pound spray foam. So the alternative was to do the batt and poly, which is on this side. So much easier to do a spray foam when you have a chance. I always encourage that if you can get spray foam on your sites, this will do a much better job, but check with your local codes first. In the front area as well, the last joist. And these areas here are very difficult to do by hand, so spray foam would be the ultimate way to do it. And lastly, let's check out the basement. So this entire wall, bear in mind it's a non-combustible assembly all the way to the end, and see how we transition from non-combustible insulation to combustible. So this joist cavity here, that's actually going to be a ventilated area because of an underside of a deck. This area, however, because we use spray foam, does not need to be ventilated. So that way we can apply spray foam right across the other side. So this will give us a continuous air bear and vapor bear and captures every single nook and cranny all the way along the side of the house. All right, now the house is completely framed up. Drop ceilings are installed where necessary. The box ends have been addressed with poly and insulation and sealed very nicely around those nooks and crannies. The 2-pound spray foam applied. It's time to get onwards with the rough-ins. So coming next week, we're gonna have doors, windows, patio sliders, HVAC, sprinklers, and lighting installations. So it'll be a very busy week next week. Okay, let's check out this $1 million garage. Remember we talked about the foundation being angled, that side as well? We'll check it out. The walls are actually matching the foundation. It goes up, and check out that inverted soffit detail, okay? Normally a garage like this takes 2 days to frame up. This is day 6 for this type of garage. It's all custom framed. Check out the inside. Everything's hand cut. If you want to get down to details, check out the back side. The thin walls here are also angled according to the foundation. And then again, the inverted soffit details. Definitely not your normal garage. It takes a lot more time, a lot more focus, and obviously it costs more to build this kind of garage. So next week, something else here that will happen is we're gonna start preparing this slab area for concrete pouring. First thing we're going there is compact this entire area. I know there's already rocks here, but we're bringing a plate compactor, give it that extra more compaction. We're gonna be doweling in the rebars, just like we did for the basement slab. Doweling in here all around, get it inspected by the structural engineer, and then arrange for some concrete. Concrete, again, we won't be pouring in one spot, we'll be pouring several different spots. We'll go through that through the next couple of videos. But for now, it's been a crazy, crazy busy week. Looking forward to a really even more busy week next week, so stay tuned.